gas stove regulation. What could a potential ban on gas stoves mean for you? Joining us this morning to discuss is Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist. And Grover, according to a new analysis from the Department of Energy, half of the gas stove models won't comply with a first ever efficiency regulation on cooking appliances. So our question for you, if enacted, what do you think the potential impact could be?
Well, it'll be big, and it won't be half. Inside that study, it's actually 96% of those stoves that exist now can't pass the test that they were imagining that they wanted to impose. So the rhetoric is they want to ban. Right now, they said half. What they're putting forward is 96%. The federal government, under Biden, intends to take away your ability to have a gas stove for cooking.
It said this cooking regulation will preserve some market share for gas stoves that have at least one high input rate burner and continuous cast iron grate. Both of these, important to note, they use a lot of energy. So what do you think is the purpose here?
It's a good question. In terms of cost, this is going to tremendously increase the cost of you buying your next gas stove. If you want one, you might be able to buy one that fits their new rules. The 4% that do, they'll have to be redone. They'll be more expensive. They don't want you to have two settings for cooking. You can only have one for gas. I mean, why is the federal government telling the American people what kind of stovetop they could have? There is no national federal interest in this issue. It's not an expense issue. It's not a pollution issue. It's just a control issue. And what if the electricity goes out, as often does in many parts of the country, and now that we are using more solar, which only works during the day, and more wind, which works when it's windy, there are going to be brownouts, blackouts, as we've seen. You won't be able to cook.
Do you think that people,
unless you have a gas stove.
Do you think people will have to just get rid of their old gas stoves to be in compliance? Like, if there is a ban, do you foresee any sort of government assistance to get another stove?
That's a good question. They're not telling us, which makes you wonder. Step one is ban new ones. But remember, in New York State, the Democrat legislature and governor there banned all new hookups. So you can't even get gas hooked up to a new house or a new apartment building or an office. So that's banning the use of it in those new buildings. At what point do they come back and take it away from people who have it now? Their stated goal is to not let you use gas for cooking or heating.
Some recent developments, Grover. The House passed the Gas Stove Protection and Freedom Act. The Republican-led bill would restrict the Consumer Product Safety Commission's ability to regulate or even possibly ban new gas stoves. What do you think comes next?
Well, there'll be a vote in the Senate, since every single Republican voted to stop these attacks on your being able to legally have a gas stove. Most Democrats voted to take away your ability to have a gas stove, but not all. There were a number of Democrats who voted with the Republicans, so it was a good-sized majority. It now goes to the Senate, and there, very likely, there'll be some Democrats, so we could pass it in the Senate. There are a couple of more moderate Democrats who haven't been voting, the Biden line on different things. But Biden will almost certainly veto this, and the bureaucrats will keep moving forward with their executive orders and fiats.
Well, it certainly has been a heated debate over this issue. Grover Norquist, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you.